Hello, hello, hello. This is AJT500 slash TanjaTrack98 slash Heloise Wonderwise slash Hilo slash Sarasa's Cake Heart. And this is going to be the Illustrious Transcendence discussion ramble yap video. This video, I will say it will have a tier list attached to it. Watch the video though before you start complaining about stuff. I was tempted not to do the tier list because y'all don't know how to act, but I decided to do it anyway. My tier list, I will say, is mostly based on like acquisition, I think, and that does include, you know, burst and like high level and stuff. It's just they are now 200 gold moons. They will be ordered left to right on how I think you know, you should buy them essentially. And that is assuming you don't like main an element. Like if you main like earth, then you may skip like some things just to get Hrunting and Andromeda, you know what I mean? But this is just like, if you're just trying to get like, in my opinion, the best ones in order, then this is probably like the path that I would go. That's also considering also that you don't want to just like split up the elements. You may want to, like, you may see like two earth ones next to each other, but it's like, okay, well, I want to kind of split up and I want to get a Resh. So it's like, you just end up getting a Red. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway, use tier list however you can want, bro. It's for me anyway. I don't care. But okay. So this is going to be some very rough thoughts. I pretty much just wrote like how I was thinking in my head for my script for this. It's going to be one of those notepad videos. So lock in, go ahead and get a snack, get some water, get some juice, whatever you need. It's going to be a long one when I talk about this stuff, especially because I'm already rambling now. But I'm just going to go through my notepad and we're just going to talk about them. So let's get into it. So first, Blazing Mistral. Blazing Mistral. All right, I have my notepad. All right, so okay, this is also something else I want to do with this. You can go back and watch the old video. I'll link it in the description if you want to watch what I actually like said. I pretty much, as I went through each weapon this time, I pretty much listened back to my video and I pretty much wrote down like the stuff that I predicted and like how that was either applied or not applied. Pretty much I just kind of want to see how I did with the prediction video, because I made the prediction video like a couple months ago. And then after that I have like an evaluation section where I actually just talk about like the weapon at large essentially. So Blazing Mistral prediction results. So the perma debuff slash extra debuffs, but the perma debuff slash extra debuffs, but it was a bit different than what I said. I said the perma debuff would trigger based on skill damage, but instead it activates off S1, aka button presses, and that it would help to trigger S1 without needing to dispel. But instead they just increase the hits on S1 stacking over time, which is cool. So pretty much I think what I said in my video was like I kind of wanted these to like ping pong off of each other. I wanted like this one to help activate S1 and then S1 could help activate S2. They kind of just cut the middleman and just added like a ton of hits to S1, which is honestly pretty cool. I kind of like that just in general. So it's pretty nice because this is the one that you get like more consistently in general because it's just based off of skills or like a special attack. So you build this very easily, right? I also thought the debuffs would be added onto S1, but instead they all got put into the perma debuff, also cool. So I think another thing that I said was that I wanted them to add extra debuffs to like this line, but instead of doing that, what they did is they just made this perma debuff that just has all the extra debuffs that I was talking about. So we got them anyway, but they're just in this debuff now. Charge bar and healing caps did not go up. So I wrote this down for all the ones that I remembered it on, but I said like when I was predicting stuff, I was thinking that the healing caps for various weapons and like these charge bar 10% would go up. They did not, like on any weapon whatsoever. So I noted them when I remembered to, but yeah, none of that stuff actually happened. Did get extra buffs off of removing a debuff on S1. Supplemental skill damage stackable. I called this specifically. Yeah, I did say when I was talking about this line, I was saying that they should add more buffs, like they should get more buffs, and I remember saying specifically supplemental skill damage stackable. Got it on Ogi too, which is also up here, and they got the rigor, which is here on this one, which is also pretty nice. So evaluation for Blazing Mistral. Don't try and change up now. Don't try and change up now. I'm not even gonna ramble. I already rambled in this paragraph, so I'm gonna just read what I said. I told people before that Blazing Mistral was already seeing use, and that with Lancer Origin coming out, there would be more room to grow, at least in the near future, as opposed to Higurashi. I still believe this. I'll talk more about Higurashi in its own section later, but these two weapons are still neck and neck in high level, like how they were before Transcendence, where one can beat the other in certain situations, but they're both viable in high level and can be used in the exact same places. I would say it's a twist, but again, it's exactly the same as what I said before. While the two are neck and neck in high level, Mistral can pull ahead in full auto in more bursty situations and just has more applications. Especially now with the Lodern summon boosting skill damage even further, and characters like Mustang. Overall, I think the weapon is strong and it was already used in Guild Wars in the past, but there will be even more applications now because it can also be used for EX+, full auto, and mashing for the later floors. It's almost like the weapon that was already seeing use, getting an Origin class, a Transcendence, and was going to be released right before Guild War, where it was already being used previously, would be pretty good. I feel vindicated and I am happy with it. I said that I was going to be really freaking annoying with Blazing Mistral. I probably will be more annoying as time goes on. I'm kind of still cooked from doing Kefka Ultimate on Final Fantasy 14. But yeah, don't try and change up now. Don't try and change up. Don't try and rush your Blazing Mistral. You better be so happy they give you a freaking pick ticket, by the way. Anybody who picked up Blazing Mistral on that freaking ticket that wasn't already planning to get Blazing Mistral, yeah, you're so lucky they give you that freaking ticket, bro. Because I told everybody laid me out. Oh my god, you put Blazing Mistral above Higurashi. I can't believe it. I already saw the writing on the freaking wall, bro, and now everybody wants a freaking Mistral. Yeah, don't try and change up now, big dog. Don't try and change up now. Don't try and change up now. Don't try and change up now. Where's the apology form, bro? Where's the apology form? I'm waiting. And before people even say, but Higurashi got good too. Don't worry, I'll get there. Don't worry, I'll get there. Anyway, that's it for Higurashi, or not for Higurashi, for Blazing Mistral. Okay, so now on to Hraesvelgr. So Hraesvelgr, prediction results. I said they would reduce the TA requirement to combat Shinji and Rei, but they just straight up removed it. So that's a thing, I guess. Must be nice. So I said for the TA requirement that it was going to go down from like 100 to like 70% or something. They just straight up removed that crap, which is freaking insane, especially because they just gave them Octavia. It's like, why did you even give them Octavia if you're just going to remove the thing anyway? Don't think it makes sense, but screw it. I mean, why not? Why not just have like 5 bazillion TA for free? Why not? Anar, they still have the single attack thing, which is like, how are you supposed to even activate that, to be honest? But you weren't using it before anyway, so whatever. They kind of did my one/lone warrior thing, but instead of giving Echo, they gave damage cap stackable. So I'm gonna take that one. Let's go flavor text. So if you remember from that video, I looked up what the word Anar meant, and pretty much the word Anar means one or lone warrior. So I had like this whole big thing where I was like, each character will pretty much, they'll get Echo based on how many hits they do, kind of in the same way that Octavia's passive works, which they didn't do the Echo, but they did the same thing with the damage cap, where everyone can just get damage cap stackable on their own based on their own multi-attacks. So I'm gonna take that one. I'm gonna take that one. And then they didn't max out the damage cap on S3. Honestly, wasn't necessarily expecting it, but I said just screw it, just seeking max it out. What the heck, it has everything else, so just do it. But they didn't do that, so didn't do that. Evaluation, outside of them just completely removing the TA hit, everything else was pretty expected, to be honest. The weapon was already super strong and there wasn't much more they could give it. The S4 is a nice bonus piece of damage and it is a spell that I'm sure will be useful in various situations, but honestly the weapon is mostly unchanged outside of just having way more TA accessible to the party when using it. Also got Echo on Ogi, which is cool, so they just got that Echo up there. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much for Hraesvelgr. It's kind of the same thing for like when I get to a Rush 2. I didn't have a whole lot of predictions for it, and side games didn't either, because there's really nothing else to get the Seeking Weapon on God. There's nothing really to get the Seeking Weapon on God. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Hraesvelgr. Maybe this video won't be as long as I thought it was going to be. All right, Andromeda. So Andromeda prediction results. Uplift and healing caps did not go up. Like I said before, all that stuff didn't go up. Ogi Nuke doesn't dispel. They added this to Fated Chain instead. Not really the biggest fan of this. I guess the way they saw this weapon was that it was only being used in V2 related stuff, so they just went all in on that. But I don't like the reliance on a Fated Chain, especially because you could potentially get into a situation where you need to dispel one turn, then the next you need the Fated Chain for 2 separate triggers and don't build up to the Fated Chain bar enough. Should have just been on the nuke like I said. Also, Fated Chain just more buttons, and Ogi already slow because of lockout. The one saving grace could be if we ever start to move to a game where we can stack more than one Fated Chain like Sandira, this could start to be a bit better but still limiting. Milkometa did not get stat increases, but we did get a special CA cap that I thought would be here just put into S1. So I was saying that Milkometa, all these stat lines would go up to something. They did not go up at all. I also said that we would get special CA cap like on this glory thing, but they just ended up putting it into this, which I mean, it's fine, but it's like now I have to stack up to it, which kind of sucks. But I mean, it's whatever. It's whatever. Didn't get Veil on Ogi. Hrunting actually got this. Got skill precision boosted. If this affects debuff success rate, which I think it should, not terrible, but not huge either. So pretty much this. The reason why I say it's not terrible is because unironically for like stuff like Versusia, if they keep making fights like Versusia where debuffs can actually miss, a lot of people actually started using the skill Opus key in the middle just so that you could hit the debuffs reliably for the debuff triggers, because the debuff triggers require so many debuffs hits. So this actually isn't like terrible to have on this type of weapon. But it's kind of just like a whatever buff at the same time, you know what I mean? Moving on to evaluation, it's like the same weapon on God. It got more buffs with special CA cap and skill precision, but they're not really game-changing buffs. The Dispel and Debuff cut on Fated Chain is nice, but not the biggest fan of them being tied to Fated Chain in the first place. Stella is one of the most undercooked buffs I've ever seen in my life, so I'm talking about this thing down here. First of all, more stacks, because why not? Most people are talking about how the charge bar up and CA react are kind of useless since most Earth characters already have double Ogi anyway, which is kind of fair, but I will play devil's advocate and say if they do release more useful Ogi characters that don't double Ogi, like Lich, putting him in that second spot could be really nice. Also can be useful on characters like Octo who have over 100% charge bar, because not only does it give 100% charge bar, not specifically taking them to 100%, so it can take you above 100% if you're already at 100%. But if they have 200% with CA reactivate, they now Ogi 3 times, which is nice. The bonus CA damage also works with Visor, so that's nice too. I wrote a lot of 100% on that, so I'll just kind of explain what I'm trying to say. Some buffs in this game, when they give you 100% charge bar, they'll only take you to 100%. But if your character goes past 100%, and then you like if you have a character that goes above 100% like Octo, but the buff only takes you to 100%, if you're already sitting at 100%, it essentially does nothing. But this actually just gives you 100% charge bar on top of whatever you have. So if Octo's sitting at 100%, he goes to 200%, which means he also has CA reactivation and he has 200% charge bar, which means he essentially acts like Andromeda itself, and then he Ogis 3 times. Which is pretty nice on characters like that. I think my bigger issues with Stella are the reliance on Fated Chain to even build in the first place, which makes it potentially really awkward to use, and at most can only be used every 3 turns instead of something you can just use every turn for consistency, if you even get Fated Chain every turn. Also, again, Fated Chain is just more clicks to build stacks. The other big issue is that it does literally nothing for MC. Stella itself doesn't give you any charge bar gain up or charge bar at the end of turn or stats whatsoever, and once it's consumed, it just helps the next person. But that's really whack when your MC is the one who most of the time has issues actually getting where they need to be for charge bar related activities, and they're the one who starts the chain. So if they fall behind, everyone else gets cooked anyway, so it's just a weird buff. Yeah, like I pretty much, I don't really like I like this buff in concept, but it would have been really nice if this buff essentially gave like your MC like 50% charge bar like at the end of turn every turn or something to help your MC actually charge attack. It's like your MC is supposed to like buff the person behind you, but your MC isn't benefiting from this at all, which is also really weird on a weapon like this, because like pretty much even this, it literally says when main weapon MC only. It's like your MC has to do all the work, but they get literally no benefit. Whereas almost every other Illustrious weapon is pretty much like really put into like they focus your MC more than anyone else. Whereas this one, I guess it technically focuses your MC in the sense that your MC has to do all the freaking work. But it's like, you know what I mean? It just kind of sucks that your MC just doesn't get anything from this. It only helps the next person and not your MC. It would have been nice if Stella did anything for your MC as it was stacking up, and then you kind of just like push that final boost to the next person. You know what I mean? But they just didn't do that for some reason. I don't really know why. But yeah, it's just this mechanic feels really undercooked. And I just don't really like I understand that Andromeda gets used mostly in V2, but I really don't like the pure reliance on V2. Like the base kit is still fine, but it's just, I don't really like the overall reliance on V2. I'm just not the biggest fan of that, to be honest. But anyway, we move on. Okay. Murcielago. So Murcielago prediction results. They did lean into more of a skill damage focused weapon like I thought they would. But my predictions, heck did I write? But my predictions tried to keep a lot of the CA application as well. They pretty much just said screw that stuff though and completely leaned into the drain / skill damage. Also dropped all the delayed drain crap and just focused on the actual drain buff, so that's nice. I'll just say a little aside here. Essentially the old Murcielago had a lot of like, it was like half skill base, half CA base. And I didn't expect them to just completely go. I thought they would go more skill damage base, which is what I tried to make my prediction around. But I didn't expect them to just essentially say, this is no longer a freaking CA weapon. We're just making it skill damage, which is what it pretty much is right now. So yeah, didn't give 100k all damage supplemental on S1 like I said, but did give stackable damage cap skill supplemental. Called this one though. This one I called that. And Echo. Honestly, a fair trade. Honestly, I was just trying to give this thing as much buffs as possible, and I said, screw it, let's just give it essentially a PNS built into it like Hraesvelgr. But they just went with this, which honestly, again, like I said in here, was honestly a fair trade. I'm okay with like a lot of this stuff. Damage cap stackable, supplemental skill damage stackable, and an Echo. All this is really freaking good. That's all really nice. They hotfixed the drain on Ogi to 5 turns, which is what I said they do. So you always have drain. I mean, yeah. Kept the plane damage, but added 3 more hits. Whatever, I guess, more okay now because they gave it more actual wind skill nukes, which is what I was aiming for by trying to change this to wind damage. Skill damage nuke on Ogi too. So essentially this plane damage, I talked about in my prediction that I don't really like plane damage on a weapon because essentially our plane damage is like almost always way worse than an actual enemy's plane damage because of how much HP an enemy has. And the plane damage is like a static hit where it doesn't get affected by like anything in your grid. But they kept this, which is fine because they gave it way more like skill nukes off of like Ogi and like its S4 and stuff like that. So and this too. So it's like there's a lot more wind damage just in the thing. So this plane damage is just kind of extra, which is how a plane damage should be. If you're gonna have it, it should just be extra. Not like the main thinking draw, you know what I mean? Kept the dispel on S2 instead of me swapping it to some Ogi stuff. Random debuffs just guaranteed, very nice. So these were random, and I swapped this I removed this dispel before and swapped it to like S3 or something because I had like a whole different game plan, but they just kept it on here. So yeah. Dropped the glory entirely. Didn't see that coming, but makes sense with dropping all the other Ogi stuff. First slot skill does 10 hit wind damage plus gives drain to help if you don't want to Ogi, as well as wind rigor to help more with the skill nukes. Also plays directly into S4 now, where if S1 is a damage or debuff skill, it'll activate twice. Super Herc. So essentially they dropped the entire skill. I did not expect that at all. I did not expect that on any weapon. I did not expect them to just completely swap a mod. It's literally just not glory anymore. It's just a whole freaking new skill, which is crazy to me. But it's pretty sick. That's pretty cool though. I'm glad they actually just fully leaned into it because honestly, if this wasn't an illustrious weapon, they would have kept that joint even if it didn't play into everything else. They would have just said, hey, just have it random freaking glory. You know what I mean? So honestly, kudos to them for swapping that joint. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And the stuff with S1 and this playing into S4, it's all really good. It's all really good. So evaluation, most people assume the weapon would be changed significantly. I can't freaking spell, bro. I can't spell. Changed significantly, but I'm happy I was on the right track by thinking it would become more of a skill nuke based weapon. I just didn't expect them changing it that much. It's much better now, but the issue is still bow classes being lackluster, although people are starting to use it to greater effectiveness already just because of the strength of the changes. I've said for a while that Mercy would be the layup for a future Ranger Origin, and now I'm more sure of that, so stand by for whenever that gets released. So essentially, I mentioned it already, but it's like they pretty much took out all the Ogi stuff in here. But the unfortunate reality is we're still pretty much stuck with like Kingo and stuff for Ogi related classes that can use bows. So it's like it's kind of cooked. So it's like it can still play better now, but it's kind of still forced into Ogi stuff. But I think I've been saying this on stream for a while that I think this weapon, whatever it changed to, was going to be the layup for Ranger Origin. It was going to play like perfectly with Ranger Origin when it comes out. So whenever that class comes out, this weapon is going to go kicking beast mode. It's going to be crazy. Okay, next Futsu. So Futsu. Prediction results. I said the Ogi and S1 would raise Thunderstruck level by 3 instead of 2 for faster ramp. Instead, they added an extra level being applied on normal attacks just in general, which is nice, but they also just said screw it in general, and the light damage / debuff resistance down and a new Thunderstruck are just applied regardless of Thunderstruck levels. And then they then tacked on that Futsu just lets your MC double strike twice when Thunderstruck is 10, which are just some huge changes. So pretty much what I was saying before was this 2 was like awkward because essentially it took you like what, 3 turns, 4 turns, whatever, to thinking raise this. You were like one below. So I said the Ogi and this should just raise it by 3 instead so that you get up faster. But they said screw that joint. It don't even matter for the nuke now. You just seeking attack and it just works. And it starts raising Thunderstruck. And then you also just get a Thunderstruck level on normal attacks in general. So you just build it like really fast on it by yourself. And when you hit Teaking level 10, you just start double striking, which is crazy. that joint, bro, they have Teaking love double strike, bro. Ego on Ogi didn't go up, but did get an extra nuke, so it's over Noah Dagger, I guess. No Keen / 100% crit though, so weapon still doesn't help the crit aspect of light. So what I tried to do in my prediction was I was trying to give this essentially copy and paste of what Rhomphia's Ogi is, to give it 100% crit, because one of my biggest issues with this weapon is that it doesn't play into the crit aspect of light, so it kind of ends up taking up a slot, and your grid gets kind of cooked when you use it sometimes. S1 didn't go up to 6 hits. I think I just was trying to say that this was going to go to 6 hits instead of 4. I think that was because I made like all the Thunderstruck stuff 3. So I was, and since it's 2 right now and it goes to 4, I was saying 3 to 6 essentially. I said S2 would amplify damage for the full turn in the vein of Holiday Binu. They didn't put it on S2, but the new S4 that needs Thunderstruck 10 and 10 stacks of the new debuff. I also said that at level 10, allies would do skill nukes. Instead, they made it so that all allies could help build the new debuff that then triggers a nuke and the damage amplification. So I'm, whatever this number is, taking this one, because although my logistics were off, I headed in the same direction they were, which is cool. So pretty much what I said was going to happen was I said that essentially at like level 10, because beforehand they didn't really have anything that happened at like Thunderstruck level 10. So I said like at level 10, what was going to happen was your MC was going to essentially give this buff like Binu did. And then all your team behind you would start doing like little they would do like half of what MC did when it came to like skill nukes. And then it would all be in this damage amplification. And they literally did the damage amplification for a full turn. And instead of your team doing like mini nukes, they just all build up to a nuke with this thing. And then, you know, it inflicts the whatchamacallit. So like the fact that I was literally on the exact same track as them with this is pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie, because I literally just came up with that joint off the dome, bro. So that's pretty freaking sick that I actually called that one. Evaluation, it's looking pretty strong, not gonna lie. It feels like since they decided to drop Dagger off of Wizard Origin, they decided to boost this weapon a bit more to tide people over. It builds Thunderstruck super fast even by itself, and your MC double striking permanently after it reaches level 10 is pretty in line with a Fighter Origin. But assuming you're playing Mana Diver, which is still really strong, and will continue to get any Mana Turas Wizard Origin does in the future as well, makes it kind of future-proof for a while. I do still wish it played into crit / multi-attack a bit more, but I guess they just plan to release future weapons to work on that. So pretty much summed up my thoughts, but I think it looks really Teeking strong. Honestly, it does a lot of Teeking skill damage. Got the light rigor. You're doing crazy stuff on MC. Like having perma double strike on like a Mana Diver is gonna go crazy, especially with all the Teeking skill damage. That joint's gonna be gross. That joint's gonna be Teeking insane. So that's really like, this weapon's really Teeking strong, especially as Light gets more and more weapons. Once they finally get that Teeking Death Strike bow, it's over. It's over. They're gonna be Teeking going insane. So Futsu unironically looks really Teeking strong right now. Really, really strong. All right, now into Eresh. And yeah, as you can see, Eresh is very small too, just like Hraesvelgr. Eresh, prediction results. Didn't give the +1 attack to MC on Ogi to be able to attack after Ogi. Did give a Dispel and NA supplemental to everyone else though, which is nice. So essentially what I was saying was, I thought what they might do is they may give it so the MC could get +1 attack when they Ogi, so that they could then attack after their Ogi, so that they could kind of double strike with everyone else. But just one of their strikes would be, have to be the Ogi to trigger it in the first place. And that would also only be available during the Tel Ibrahim turns at the start. And then afterwards it would just fall off. That's my prediction, but they didn't do that crap. They were very afraid of +1 attack, as you will find out later with another weapon. Tel Ibrahim does last an extra turn, like I said, but did not give the flurry. So pretty much I said this would last 1 extra turn, but I also said that you would get some type of flurry or something while this was active, but they did not do that. I guess the flurry, quote unquote, was the supplemental NA damage, but it's not really flurry. Eresh is still Eresh, just stronger. They did drop the skill cap hit and add a 15% boost to multi-attack. Must be nice. And the S4 makes it so that the multi-attack over skills always hit for the Tel Ibrahim turns. Cool, I guess. Honestly, I mean, like, it's just the same weapon. Like, I am kind of salty about this multi-attack, but unironically, at least they made the multi-attack, like, play into something here. I guess they technically did it on Hraesvelgr too, but it's like, be for real, bro. You have so much Seeking TA in that element. I don't even want to hear it, bro. I don't even want to hear it. So, whatever. But, yeah, that's pretty much Ereshkigal. Honestly, there's not a lot to talk about with it, TBH. So now we go on to Rhomphaia, which I forgot. I went out of order in my original thing, so I opened these in the wrong order. All right, so Rhomphaia. Echo didn't go up, so I said again, for all the charge bar, healing cap, all this stuff, I said the echoes and stuff would go up. Echo did not go up. Didn't give it 100k all damage supplemental. I said the same thing. I thought it would give PNS just like Murcielago. Did not give that. But did give it 20% defense ignore. What the heck? And S4 did give 50k NA supplemental and increased hit count by 1 to everyone on their second attack if they have a double strike or higher effect. What the heck? Did not give all allies S1 with their assassin, but gave them a tank and counter effect and gives MC double strike. What the heck? So yeah, it got some pretty good stuff, TBH. It got some pretty good stuff. I was expecting it to get buffed in other ways, but honestly, I think this is probably better than the 100k supplemental TPH. This is probably better. Getting the defense ignore, getting double strike every other turn, getting the extra hits, the echo, like it's pretty strong. Or the supplemental, not the echo. It's pretty strong. It's pretty strong. Evaluation, another one of these weapons that didn't change too much, but just got stronger. But the upgrades it got are pretty strong. Your MC in particular is just a normal attack monster with defense shred and double strike that can repeatedly play into the S4. Bring specifically Rhomphaia Lancer Origin even more in line, if not even situationally above Fighter Origin. Also got a stack of Onslaught on Ogi, which is a nice quality of life. So yeah, you're just getting a stack of Onslaught if you do Ogi, which you do want to Ogi on this sometimes because you do get the Echo and the 100% crit and Keen. So this just playing into that and helping you is pretty nice QOL. So yeah, Rhomphaia pretty freaking strong right now. Most people that were on that no game, they already knew Rhomphaia was good, and it just got better. So yeah, it's pretty good. All right, Higurashi. All right, Higurashi. Prediction results. Did not get more charge bar on Ogi or Dispel. Got dodge rate stackable though for everyone, some more survivability. So it got more dodge rate. For everyone else, because your MC already does the dodge all. Didn't up the charge bar on chain burst. Got bonus fire CA damage to everyone instead at 5 chains. Cool. So this again, the same type of thing as like I said before. I thought all these charge bars would go up. They did not. And then it also got the bonus fire CA damage thing. I think, oh yeah, did not get CA reactivate guaranteed. So I said this for this weapon and Shishio. I said that these should just get CA reactivation guaranteed, just like Andromeda. They both did not get that. So yeah, did not get that. Didn't get skill damage supplemental. I also said that for this is the one skill damage supplemental I missed. I said it would get skill damage supplemental somewhere in these buffs. It did not. Got amplified chain damage instead. Evaluation. Also didn't change a whole lot, but gained a massive amount of damage. The bonus fire CA damage on all allies and the evening afterglow chain burst adds a lot of DPT. And evening afterglow also builds singe if that's applicable to the team. I said I would talk more about this weapon in the Blazing Mistral section, but honestly, even though the DPT has increased a lot, I still see it as something I pick up after Blazing Mistral. I see Higurashi as the safety pick. It can make your life really easy brain off Ogi with good survivability and damage, but as I said in the Blazing Mistral section, it is almost entirely tied to high level, and considering Blazing Mistral can put out similar damage and be used in all the same places while also having applications elsewhere, puts that weapon above Higurashi for me. That being said though, the damage on this weapon is not to be understated, and again, its ease of use makes it easier to pilot. So again, pretty much just summing this up, the whole Blazing Mistral versus Higurashi debate. Honestly, the thing about it, I wanted Blazing Mistral to come out on top, which I think it did, but I'm not a Higurashi hater either. I just know a lot of people like Higurashi a lot more than Blazing Mistral. But the thing about it is I think Blazing Mistral is just I think it's just a better weapon because it can be used in more places than Higurashi can. That's the main reason why I continuously put Blazing Mistral over Higurashi. Sure, Blazing Mistral can be a little bit harder to use in something like high level, but I think if you're going to spend 200 gold moons on one of these weapons, I would rather just get the one that can be used in multiple places as opposed to the one that can only be used in high level. That's pretty much how I see it. But again, you can do whatever you want. It's your own moons, right? So that is it for Higurashi. All right, now on to Shishio. So for Shishio, prediction results. Didn't clear before Ogi, but added a 1-turn cut to debuff durations at ended turn and added attack and defense down stackable. So I said, I know a lot of people have had issues with this weapon where the zombification can just like really screw you over. I said that it should clear like when you Ogi, it should like clear before it heals, essentially. So you could potentially clear off the zombification. They did not do that, but they just gave you like -1 turn cut to debuff durations, which I guess is nice. I guess at least it's consistent. Like it happens like every turn, but you can like the zombification can just get applied again, and then you just get kind of, zombie loot. You know what I mean? So it kind of still sucks. Didn't get unconditional CA reactivate, just kept it on S1. So pretty much the same thing I said for Higurashi. I said this should just get unconditional CA reactivation, take it off of this and just give it unconditional. They did not do that. It is still stuck on here. Did give 100% charge bar on S1, like I said, but it's only to MC and not all allies, and didn't give them the massive Kumbira nuke. S1 did give bonus CA damage though that works with Sylvia. So essentially what I was saying for S1 was, I was saying S1 was going to be like a Lady Maria thing from Bloodborne, where essentially my thought process was like you stab yourself with S1, you consume HP, and then what happens is you essentially do like a huge nuke off of that, and you also power up everybody, and everybody gets 100% charge bar. They only gave 100% charge bar to MC, and it doesn't really do, like, it does extra damage because of this, but it doesn't do like a multi-hit nuke or anything crazy. So didn't do that. Literally did nothing with the dot damage. So they didn't do my super shield idea, which also makes it so that this weapon didn't really get any extra survivability options, which sucks pretty hard. So one of the big issues with water right now in high level is that you can die very TK easily. So I had this big idea where essentially I had like this big shield idea because I really wanted them to do something with this dot damage. So essentially I was going to do something where it's like either when you take dot damage or when you like consume HP, you get like a big shield essentially to help you survive. But they did not do anything with this dot damage. They did not do anything for extra survivability besides, I guess, trying to help you get zombification off and I guess giving you some debuffs. So good luck. Go ahead when you hit your first Halo in Versusia, just go ahead and ready up that 000, big dog. Because once you die one turn later, we're gonna need that Halo off. So yeah. Anyway, evaluation. It's still just an upgraded Kanashige. This weapon is so funny to me because people hyped it up so hard from the beginning. I can't spell again. I can't spell. Beginning. And I never got the hype. And now people are wishing it got more on the Transcendence. Nah, you can hold your quote unquote perfect weapon from before. Have fun. I will say I like the S4 giving you 20% Faded Chain bar because it makes it so with all your Ogies to trigger it in the first place, you should just get full Faded Chain bar every turn. But it is odd that Faded Chain doesn't really actually do anything with the weapon. They gave Shishio the ability to build Faded Chain consistently with nothing to show for it, and gave Andromeda less ways to build Faded Chain, but more uses for it. It's just kind of weird. But to be honest, you'll probably just keep using this weapon where you used it before, but it's not significantly better damage-wise or even survivability-wise from what I've seen in the same vein as something like Higurashi. So essentially, like, you're going to keep using this where you were using it before, but it's not... I don't think this weapon popped off nearly as much as Higurashi. Higurashi is doing insane damage per turn right now, and Shishio just got, you can Faded Chain every turn. Go have fun. And you get this little echo, which you were already getting echo anyway. So suck it, nerds. Suck it, nerds. Anyway, enjoy your Teking Shishio. Now the big one. Hrunting. Okay. Hrunting. Okay, prediction results. Savage Mythology did not go on everyone like I thought. Like I said it was going to. We did not get +1 attack or 100% TA on MC. Does give 50k supplemental and an extra unique echo. Not what I wanted, but honestly pretty good, especially since the supplemental works on all damage, so it affects the new nuke too. So essentially what I was saying was Savage Mythology. I was saying this buff should win on everyone to kind of combat what was going on with Helden Hymns and us just seeking dying. And that would have also just given everyone dot damage every single turn. They did not do that. We also did not get +1 attack on this. I talk about this later, so I'll just save it right now. I won't ramble too much, but we did not get +1 attack. I also said that some way, shape, or form, MC should have gotten 100% TA, whether it was through Savage Mythology or dot damage or something. Did not get that. But we did get the extra supplemental skill damage on Savage Mythology ++, I think. Yeah, this. And we also got this bonus earth damage effect, which is an extra echo on top of the dot echo. So they work together. And then we also get this damage cap, which honestly, pretty good. I'm not really too mad about that, to be honest. So that's good. That's good. S2 echo did not go up with blood sacrifice. So essentially what I was saying, I'll just take a second. I was saying that if you had blood sacrifice, this echo would like double. It would go to like 60% if someone got blood sacrifice. So if you OG'd, this would go up to 60%. They did not do that. Did give an extra 10% damage cap to everyone though, which honestly I'll take that since you don't need to OG. So I kind of touch on the damage cap again here, where essentially now anyone who gets blood sacrifice will also get this damage cap, which is nice because you don't need to OG to actually get this, because you could just use like a dot weapon and you can get this damage cap, so you don't actually have to deal with the blood sacrifice mechanic. But if you do deal with the blood sacrifice mechanic, then you also get the buff, which is nice. Didn't increase the damage mitigation on Ogi. This I said this would go up to like 4,000, but it did give Veil. pretty good. I mentioned that Hrunting got this instead of Andromeda earlier, but considering Andromeda plays with Octo and Hrunting usually doesn't, this is good to have. Also frees us a bit from Makra, since we can get Veil on our own if we Ogi. So essentially before, like for something like Esoteric, you are kind of forced into bringing a character like Makra specifically, not only because Makra is good, right, but because Makra gives you Veil, and if you don't have Veil for the 50% trigger, you can get paralyzed. But now technically you can use not Makra as long as you Ogi on that turn. You could just get Veil and just avoid the paralyzed, which is nice. Did not add anything to the Enmity mod. Honestly, this is probably the most disappointing, especially after the release of the Dark Odious. Brought about a new mod. That's what I meant to say. Mod with Enmity plus Garrison. I was so sure they'd add something to this mod, but unfortunately not. So I made a big deal about this before in the prediction video, where I was saying that Enmity was weird because there was not really like any mods in the game that had Enmity, specifically Enmity with another thing attached to it. I was saying that I wanted this to be like multi-attack or Garrison, and then they went with the Dark Odious weapon and they released a weapon that had Enmity and Garrison. So I was like, okay, that's what they're setting up for Hrunting. It's probably just going to get the Garrison now, which is fine, but they literally just didn't give it anything. So that's honestly the most disappointing thing, because this is where I was really counting on the TA to come from, because I really thought this TA would be like the Fandango for Golden Fists of Ura, but we just did not get that. I guess Sarasa is just too strong. They just wanted to keep this Enmity as high as possible, and not try and like lower it by giving it like a Fandango effect. So they just said screw it, and Sarasa just wins. She just takes all the Seeking Enmity, I guess. So yeah, honestly, that's pretty disappointing, but I mean, it is what it is. Okay, so evaluation. I know people are, this one's so long, by the way. I know this one is so long. I know people are going to be looking for me to rage about this one, and I am a bit disappointed, but honestly, not as much as other people. I'll just go through a few things. Firstly, the new debuff on S4 is kind of huge. This kind of is in the vein with what I was aiming for by spreading Savage Mythology to everyone, where everyone would have more defense and do more damage. So I'm pretty satisfied with that aspect, and I think the damage increase from not only lowering defense, but also permanently amplifying damage taken is bigger than people are giving it credit for. Also, the nuke that goes off is huge. I've seen upwards of 7 mil to 8 mil, and it hits 2 times, which is super chunky, and it's pretty consistent. You get it at least every 2 turns, if not every turn, which adds up to a lot over the fight. So just quick thing, this buff is like really nice. It's very similar to like Baisha's buff. I actually don't know if these stack yet. I haven't really tested them together, to be honest, but this is a very good buff, or a really good debuff, should I say. Debuff, not buff, but it's a very good debuff. And honestly, you can stack it pretty fast, and the nuke that I was talking about when you actually activate that debuff is very, very strong. The nuke is very, very good. I really like the nuke, honestly. My only issue on it though is the stacks. Why does it need 5 stacks to activate in the first place, and then it needs to stack 5 times? It's very in the vein of like Formal Fraud with that type of stuff. I would almost rather the stacks needed to activate be like 3, then the debuff stack up to like 10, so that you get nukes faster, but it takes longer to actually get the buff up. But then once you got the buff up, you'd still continue to nuke even more often. But I guess where it's at is an okay compromise. Another issue with it though is that it only stacks on triple attacks, which opens a whole can of worms. One thing, I think is what I meant to say, one thing I want to bring up that I haven't actually seen a lot of people talk about is why doesn't it work like Versusia Summon, where it stacks on triples and Ogies? Only being triples makes the hybrid nature of Earth more of a detriment than it needs to be. So I just don't really get why this doesn't operate the exact same way as like Versusia does, where it will, Versusia, you can do a combination of triple attacks and Ogies, and especially on a weapon like Hrunting that has perma double strike, sometimes your MC will Ogie and then attack afterwards, or attack first, build up to an Ogie and then Ogie. But it's like when you Ogie, it just doesn't do anything for these stats, which is just dumb. It's just stupid. I don't know why it doesn't do it on Ogie too. It doesn't make any sense to me. Also, I hate to tell you, no, I don't, but I told you so. Makura with this is just bad. People have tried to argue about it where the nuke is still consistent even if she's present, so it's not that big of a deal, but the fact of the matter is she does not play into this at all, and when you have limited team space, you want your team to all work together, and it's stupid that she doesn't. People have also brought up that this opens doors for different playstyles outside of Makura, which is fair, but why are we being forced to bench one of our best characters in like the last 5 years so soon after her release? A lot of the stuff I hear defending Makura with this just sounds like the cope I've talked about before, where it's like, yes, Makura is still viable, but it could have been better, so why are we so quick to settle for less? It also doesn't help from what I said before that it also doesn't build stats on Ogies either, so she literally just doesn't help. Also, this is a little less Makura's fault, but because Hrunting didn't get anything TA related on it, we're still strapped to Raziel, which convolutes team space more. For example, in my Leviathan Mari setup, I knew Sarasa needed to stay and Olivia needed to stay, but the last spot was open. The issue though is because we have no TA, we needed Raziel to help guarantee it on Olivia and MC when they drop Uvheaded. Also, Makura unironically slower because of extra button presses and the time spent attacking. So until we get TA in the grid, Makura's spot is still more volatile because we need Raziel. So to sum up that whole big paragraph, I told you so. I told you so. People called me crazy. People thought I was asking for too much when Makura first came out and she could not TA. People were like, oh, he just wants everything in Earth. He just wants everything. Like, she literally double strikes every turn, bro. Like, give it up. Like, it's not that bad. And then you got hit with Versusia and she stopped working. And now you got hit with Hrunting and she stopped working. It's the same thing with both of them. Why the heck does the character not take triple attack? It's stupid. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's literally one of those things that Earth loves to do where they literally just write themselves into a hole and then you're just cooked because it's just not future-proofed at all. So it's just one of those things where it's like I said, I literally told you so. I told you so. With the Makura thing, she just should be able to triple attack. Like, I'm not sorry, bro. I'm not sorry. But anyway, I also would just want to touch a bit on the lack of no tri-strike / +1 strike. It's disappointing, but honestly, looking at the other weapons, it feels like they were treating this double strike as sacred and trying to bring other weapons up to it, like Futsu getting it after stacks and Rhomphaia getting it every other turn. But because Hrunting already just had it permanently, it didn't move. It didn't move because double strike is their current limit. So essentially what I think right now is I don't think they want to take anything permanently above double strike. They're trying to bring everything up to double strike, but the fact that Hrunting already had double strike, it just didn't change, which feels bad, but it's just like from a design standpoint, I think that's the reason why they did it. I do wonder though if we'll get a class in the future that will give +1 strike, and that's why they avoided it here. They want it to only be on that class instead of letting the weapon carry it around everywhere, which I guess I can understand, which pretty much I just summed it up there. But I guess I can understand if they want to release like Glorybringer Origin or something, and Glorybringer Origin has +1 strike, they want that to be where Hrunting really excels with the +1 strike, as opposed to you being able to bring 3 strike or quad strike to Fighter Origin and Paladin Origin and Chaos Ruler and, you know, all this stuff. They want it to be on a specific class, which I can understand. If they do that in the future, I think I'd be okay with that. So I can kind of understand, like, if other weapons had gotten like tri-strike or +1 strike or something, I think I would have been mad. But just seeing all the other weapons stop at that double strike limit makes me think that that's just their limit on the weapons right now. All this being said though, while Hrunting's buffs are not as apparent as some of the other weapons, I do think it's unironically super strong still. The bigger issue as it always has been is the element itself. The characters and weapons are whack and needs to catch up. So essentially, I was telling this to my friend Sil. Pretty much, I think Earth is just not ready for Hrunting right now, like unironically. Again, they need to rebuild the roster. They really need to rebuild the grid. The grid is seeking terrible. So until they rebuild that stuff, Hrunting, it's still really good. I think this buff and the nukes specifically are busted as crap. Like, they're really seeking strong. Like, your MC is goated. Your MC is goated. Your MC has everything Hrunting has had before, plus more. Your MC is seeking awesome. It's just the grid and the characters that are holding your MC back, like unironically, and the weapon back. But as we get more characters and new weapons, Hrunting will rise up again, I believe. So yeah, that is Hrunting. All right, moving on to Golden Fists of Ura. So, prediction results for Ura. MC did not get GTA, but they did get a buff that gave TA up to everyone, and 3-hit light damage from the 3rd hit of a normal attack with bonus light damage. Fair trade, I'll take it. Main thing, I said GTA because most of the time where you use Golden Fist of Ura right now, you use it with Sumabido, and Sumabido has a hit to TA, so I wanted to help combat that, which they help combat that. And you also got this big Fandango too, because this is also level 25 now, so your TA is probably just Seeking Fight now. So yeah, you're good. You're Gucci. Did not give normal attack like Ereshkigal. So I said that, where is it? Right here. It has this normal amp. I've always thought it's weird that this one had normal amp, but did not have the normal cap, whereas Eresh has both. I said it should just get both. It did not get both. So, I mean, what do you want? What do you want from me? Might have cooked too hard with the want to guarantee the counters. I wanted it to be so that essentially whenever the enemy attacks, you counter on MC. Mostly for OTK and low turn related things. They just gave you all ally sub at the start, which for most of your bursting related stuff is okay and accomplishes the goal. But the issue becomes when the enemy has injury triggers, your MC will take all the damage and instantly go to 1. This is kind of whack in and of itself, but it's even worse when you realize that the full heal you get doesn't immediately activate as soon as you hit 1 HP. So your MC will just go through the turn and end up dying if the damage at the start was great enough. So essentially, the main issue I've had with Ura for a long time, I'm just going to use something easy as like EX plus, right? If you tried to EX plus with Ura, there would be times where either your MC would dodge the hit from the enemy or just like not get targeted at all, and they wouldn't counter. So it could make your OTKs unreliable, right? The issue, well, I mean, that is the issue. The solution that I had was essentially just make it work. Just make it work. I said do it where like your MC just, you know, they have hostility up, which I guess I kind of got. They either have hostility up, it just activates the counter on enemy special attack, like something to just make it work consistently. But the thing that they did, I don't think the all ally sub in and of itself is necessarily a bad thing, but the issue, like I said, is entry triggers. If you go into something like Fall and he does the entry trigger, your MC immediately takes all that damage. And the counteraction they have to that is that your MC has Undying, and when they're in Undying, at the end of turn, like when they're almost knocked out, they will full heal themselves. But the issue is that joint only happens at the end of turn. So essentially you will all ally sub, go to 1 HP, then you'll take your whole turn at 1 HP. And if they hit you once, because you still have all ally sub, which so they're going to hit you once, you're going to die and you're not going to ever get the heal off. So it's kind of cooked, right? It's kind of cooked. So it's just like, I think I talk about it more later here, so I'll just wait until I get that. But yeah, it's just kind of cooked. That's pretty much what I'm trying to explain here. They did give a new buff to MC, but it doesn't have stacks and doesn't build from counters or give double strike. Also doesn't give all allies S1. So essentially I'll just touch on that because I think I go to something else. Pretty much what I was saying before was the big move that I was going to try and give them was they were going to have some type of move at battle start where like essentially as you counter, it builds up. And once it builds up, it gives your MC double strike and then it gives everyone else S1 so that they can all counter too. They didn't do that. They just gave them this instead, which is still pretty good TBH, but it's just not the thing that I gave them. But I did predict a new buff, I guess. And then what else did I say? That being said, though, this is still a really strong buff, which I say here. That boosts your MC specifically while bringing back your red skills faster, which will be great for tag team and S1 to counter more after the sub falls off, and will probably go crazy on Grappler Origin in the future. Evaluation. Honestly, the buffs it got are really peaking strong. It's gonna go crazy next Guild War and will be useful in general for bursting related activities. Also, level 25 Fandango go crazy. The main reason everyone's molding molding is because it cooks you on anything with an entry trigger. But this would probably be okay if they just made the heal activate as soon as you hit 1 HP instead of at end of turn. So as soon as the enemy's attack is over, you full heal. But I think overall it got some good upgrades. It also got Veil and Dispel Cancel on Ogi for the turn you Ogi, so that's nice. So it just got these, which is pretty nice. But yeah, they just got to figure out something for the entry triggers. Maybe they should just make it so, like, I don't know, some type of clause in here where it's just like, this doesn't include entry triggers. Like, that's literally all you have to do. Like, it just doesn't include entry triggers. Something like that. That's really all they need to do, and I think it'd be okay. But honestly, that's the reason why people are molding. The rest of the weapon is still really freaking good. Honestly, like, it literally just does what it did before, but better. But it's just, this is cooking a lot of people, especially because people are trying to test it on stuff that has entry triggers. Because that's the main place where you use it outside of, like, guild. So yeah. But anyway, moving on to the last one of Zosimos. Zosimos, they gave me a Dispel Cancel, but it's on Ogi instead of as a random buff. You're killing me, Smalls. So the one thing that I wanted more than anything else on Zosimos was I wanted, when it gets all these random buffs, I wanted in this list down here to be Dispel Cancel, because it really sucks to get all these buffs and then they just get dispelled instantly. They gave me my Dispel Cancel, but it's one of those monkey paw curling things where they said, okay, you can get Dispel Cancel, but it doesn't come with the rest of the buffs. You got a Seeking Ogi to get it. So we did get it, but you got a Seeking Ogi, which sucks. But at least you get it, I guess. Didn't get TA on Crest. I had this one thing. I was kind of lost on what to give Zosimos. So I said on Crest, as you build up Crest, it will just give you like 20% TA per Crest. So you just get, 100% TA if your character has Crest and this is your main weapon, right? They didn't do that though. They didn't add a Dispel on the nuke to S2 like I predicted, but instead they added the Dispel to S1 every 3 skills used. Less consistent, but I'll take it. So essentially I said on the nukes of S2, I said that they would Dispel on this, and then I had one thing where it's like when it starts activating twice, you get double Dispel, but they didn't do that. They ended up adding it on this new nuke that you got on S1 instead. The also didn't debuff on S2 nuke, but again they added debuffs to S1's every 3 skills triggered, and also gave that a nuke, which is kind of crazy. I might work inside games. So I actually, again, like I mentioned at the start of this video, I kind of listened to my old prediction, and it's funny, like I said, I was at a loss for Zosimos, and one of the things I didn't even write down in the notepad for that, I kind of just thought off the top of my head. I was like, this should start debuffing. It should start debuff. Like, they should just add debuffs to the nuke as well. And they literally just made a nuke on S1 that drops all these seeking debuffs. So they literally said the Dispel thing. I called that Dispel thing, even though it was on S1 instead. And I called the debuff thing, but they put that one on S1 too. Right? So I called both of those things, which is kind of crazy. S3 doesn't give supplemental skill damage, but does give Dark Rigor instead. So I think just for S3, I said this was going to give you like, it was going to give you like with this line, it was going to give you supplemental skill damage. I was really in the supplemental skill damage lane, bro. But instead of supplemental skill damage, they just started giving stuff, Seeking Rigor. So this got Dark Rigor, which is cool. I'll take that instead. That's fine. Did not give 30% charge bar on Chain Burst. So, and didn't give more nukes on Chain Burst either. So essentially I was trying to kind of move this in more of like a potential Ogi direction, especially because they released like Valentine's Wamdis. So I was like, let's just give it some more Ogi stuff just in case for future proofing, but they did not play into that. Really the only thing they gave Ogi was this spell cancel. So it's like, yeah, I guess that's cool, I guess. Anyway, evaluation. When Wizard Origin comes out and releases the seal on its right eye, Zosimos is going to go crazy. The buffs I've talked about already are really strong. I like the nuke on 3 skill presses and the debuffs it gives, as well is I like how they made the dragon fire animation like curve onto the boss. So like if you haven't seen this yet, like look up a video or something. The way it used to be is like when you get 3 skills pressed and it gives you like your buffs on Zosimos. In the past, it made like this dragon sound effect and there was like a fire plume that like went straight up when you got the buffs. Now that fire plume still makes the dragon effect, but now it like loops into the boss and then it debuffs them. It looks really freaking cool. Like I really like the way it looks. So yeah. The 4th skill is also good, but my only plight with it is it takes a really long time to become accessible. You probably won't even get it up in most fights, even if you build a team around it. So I wonder if Wizard Origin will be cycling through crests much faster to help it out. Not sure, but overall I'm happy with it and I think it'll see a lot of use in the future. So yeah, pretty much the skill just takes a really freaking long time. I tried like a full auto with Mandiver MC and like Hecate. And like, I just never saw the move. It never came up because you just don't get enough crest. So we need like a lot more crest generation, unless this is just built to be like a high level thing where you just get it like 2 or 3 times in a fight in high level or something. I mean, I guess that's kind of what they were going for because it's supposed to be like this, you know, the Forbidden Tome seal comes undone type stuff, but you know, on the Chuny status. But yeah. Anyway, it looks pretty good though. It looks pretty good. So with that being said, we will now go into the final verdict and I will reveal the tier list. Okay, so this is the tier list. This is the tier list. Perfect as all things, down to the very last detail. Whatever Thinking Homelander said, bro. It's literally, this is the closest they have ever been. This is the closest they have ever been for me, like ever. I had to double take a couple times. I was like, what the heck? Like, are they all really this close? They're all really, really, really good now. Really, really good. Again, this is like an acquisition tier list. So left to right, I think you should like start with like Eresh, then probably like Hrey, then Hrunting. Again, like if you're not gonna farm bullets, you can skip Hrey, get like Hrunting. If you don't care about Earth, skip the Rhomphaia. If you don't care about either one of them, you only play Dark, skip all the way down to Zosimos. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, you know, you kind of have to do what you want to do. But this is just in general, for general power scaling, this is just how I feel. I just think Eresh and Hrey are just still really, really freaking good. I think Hrunting is still really, really good too, but Hrunting just sees a little bit less use kind of because Earth sucks. Like I mentioned, the Hrunting section. I think Rhomphaia, honestly, at this point, like if you don't give it an S, I think you're kind of trolling, to be honest. Even in my last one, I think it was like really close to S, but now that it has this push, it's in S. Down to A, pretty much Andromeda. The only reason it's not an S because it's pretty much just for Ogi, and especially now that it's like V2 focus, it doesn't really work in like everything. So it's super strong. So it's at the top of A for me, but you know, it's still an A. Futsu, I think, is just gross, to be honest. I think especially as pretty much Futsu is kind of in the same situation as like Hrunting, but I think it has like a little bit less application right now. But the fact that like I guess the bigger thing with Futsu is that Fighter Origin also kind of exists. That also, like, that's also another thing that kind of pushes down some of these other weapons. Like Zosimos honestly could probably be in like A or even S if Eresh didn't exist in the same element, whereas Eresh just takes a lot of the thinking, like, you know, a lot of the space that you would be doing on this. Kind of the same thing with Ura too. Like Ura is also kind of cooked because of the entry trigger thing right now, but just the fact that Futsu exists in its current form kind of pushes Ura down, because if you're not really like bursting, then you're probably going to use Futsu over Ura. You know what I mean? Blazing Mistral and Higurashi, I have put them side by side, but I'm putting Thinking Mistral ahead because I think it is ahead. But I do think they are very, very comparable. Very, very freaking comparable. Very, very comparable. So they're here. Murcielago has finally beaten something. Now, I know people are already going to say, oh, he just seeking hate Shishio. But honestly, I'm going to be so real. I really do think Murcielago is a better weapon than Shishio right now. I really genuinely do. I genuinely do. And the main reason why, honestly, is because Murcielago is less of an Ogi weapon right now. Murcielago is getting almost entirely cooked because of the classes that it is stuck to. But even Murcielago has more applications than Shishio does, because you can use Murcielago for like full autos for like the new Odious raid that are almost catching up to Thinking Rhomphaia. You can also use it for OTK stuff for like the EX Plus boss, because it has the same type of thing as like Herc, where you can just reactivate a skill and you can just nuke the crap out of the boss. So even Murcielago has more application than Shishio, where Shishio is pretty much only for high level, and it didn't even get that much stronger. So Shishio unironically is at the bottom. But even that being said, I'm clowning on Shishio a lot here, but I do think all of these are very, 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 very thick and close to each other right now. They are very, very interchangeable. Some are more niche than others, but they are all very close to each other right now. I think the only two that are like, honestly, the only one that is really ahead of the pack is Ereshkigal, honestly. And that's the reason why it's at the front, because Ereshkigal literally just transcends everything. You can use it for OTK, you use it for full auto, you use it for burst, you use it for high level. You can use it for literally thinking everything, bro. You can use it for literally everything. I know people use Dark Excalibur in high level too, but half the time people be using Eresh anyway. So yeah, it's really thinking strong, and it just got stronger. It just got stronger too. So yeah, Eresh is really thinking good. But again, you know, take tier lists with a grain of salt. I just like to do this, but we'll see how much I get flamed on this one. But yeah, that is pretty much my Illustrious Transcendence evaluation video. Hopefully this helps you a little bit to try and help pick out your ticket thing. Again, by the way, I'm not trying to fucking money shame anyone here. If you actually cannot afford that Illustrious ticket for whatever reason, that is the one reasonable reason why you should not buy that. But I've seen a lot of discourse about it on Twitter. If you can afford that joint, bro, if you care about this game whatsoever, and if you don't care about this game like that, you know, meta wise, or just even in your own element, that's fine too. That by all means, you ain't got to buy it. But I'm just telling you, if you care about this game whatsoever and you want to play stuff whatsoever, buy that teaking ticket, bro. Buy that teaking ticket. You can call me KMR Junior shill as much as you want, bro. Buy that teaking ticket. Buy that teaking ticket. Literally, no matter what you pick on this entire teaking list, buy that teaking ticket. Buy that teaking ticket. But anyway, yeah, that is it for this video. Thanks for the support. Thanks for watching. After this, sometime later this week, I will be doing the mini pre-go or ramble for fire, and that will probably be like the last video I'll be doing for a hot minute besides like the formal banner, because it will be Guild War, and then I will be going to Anime Expo at the start of next month, so I won't have a lot of time. Also got to do re-clears on Final Fantasy 14, so that's going to take more time too. So anyway, yeah, video finished. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support as always. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.